If you remember, then in previous session we did minimum configuration of FortiWeb or WAF Web Application Firewall. So first we assigned IP address to both the interfaces, port 1 and port 2, and in order to access backend web server, what we did, first we created virtual IP. Virtual IP is associated with virtual server. Then we created a pool. Pool means logical grouping of backend server, and finally policy, right? And in WAF policy, what we did, we associated built-in web protection profile, inline of course, but alert only mode, alert only, logging, right? No prevention, no protection. And as a result, even in case if there is any attack like cross-site scripting attack, SQL code injection attack, command injection attack, right? So what would happen, FortiWeb Firewall will show like those attacks in log section, because alert means like logging option is there, but also there is no prevention, there is no protection, means still web server is not protected. So let me quickly show you like what configuration we did in the previous session, right? And then today I'm going to show you like how we can create our own web protection profile, right, in prevention mode, not alert only mode, and how we can also use attack signatures, known attack signatures, so that in case if there is code injection attack, cross-site scripting attack, so with the WAF policy we just protect backend server. So first thing first, I'm going to show you like what all configuration FortiWeb Firewall has, and then I will explain about web protection profile. Particularly I will show you how we can create web protection profile. We will launch attack on the backend server, and with the help of web protection profile, inline mode and known attack signature, we will prevent like those attacks, right? Good. So let me quickly show you configuration of FortiWeb. Username, password. So admin is the username, and password, like whatever password we set during initial configuration, first time configuration. So if I show you first operation mode of FortiWeb, so default mode is reverse proxy mode, right? So my FortiWeb is in reverse proxy mode. There are some other operation mode also, like offline protection to transparent and transparent, but in most of the cases, 90% cases, we always go with the default option, that is reverse proxy. So inline mode and reverse proxy, I hope you understand. Reverse proxy means like requests coming from internet side and the client requests are completely terminated to the device. The new connection is created with backend server, right? So man in middle kind of thing. So device is sitting in the middle of communication stream and connections terminated to the device. Reverse proxy. So mode is reverse proxy, and the IP is configured. And if I just show you virtual server object here, right? A virtual server is tied with virtual IP. So there is only one virtual server, VS01, and from network sections, like we create virtual IP from network section here, right? And the same virtual IP address is tied with the virtual server, right? So virtual server has a virtual IP address. So from where we started, so first we created virtual IP. If you remember in the previous session, here is the IP, virtual IP. Step number 2, what we did, we associated virtual IP with virtual server. So here like there is only one virtual server. Step number 2. Third step, server pool, right? There is only one member in the pool, only one member, of course, but of course there can be multiple servers or multiple members in a pool. So third step, pool, and once we are ready with all the objects, then finally creating a policy. Okay, so here there is one policy already created in previous session, right? So first virtual IP, and then virtual server, pool, and finally policy. And here there is one policy. And if you look at the web protection profile, and today we are going to understand about web protection profile, but before that let me quickly show you like what this profile is all about. So this web protection profile is inline but alert only, right? Inline and alert only. So if we check that profile, built-in profile, so in FortiWeb total, here we can see total there are 10 profiles, built-in profiles, read-only mode, right? We cannot customize. In order to do customization, either we can make a clone of it, a copy of it, or maybe we can start from scratch, right? But let me show you built-in inline protection profile in this FortiWeb. So you can see here like the built-in profile, like inline protection profile, action is of course alert only. Even I can see here signature associated here is alert only, right? Alert only signature means no protection as such. And since it's a read only, then we cannot change, we cannot do any modification here. And from where like we can see that signature. So under web protection, so if we go here, expand web protection, known attacks, signatures, so here like there are signatures, alert only, we can see here SharePoint, WordPress. And even if we want to create our own signature, then we can create from here, right? So if we create our own attack signatures, then we can do like full customization. I mean, either alert or alert and deny, right? So we have option here, we can do customization further. But if we are going to use predefined, then of course read only mode, even though like standard protection is recommended, you can see here. And if you click view signatures, then you will find all the signatures here, right? Cross-site scripting, SQL code injection attack, and here like known exploits. See here, even we have like flexibility here, we can create our own signature as we do in a 5 big IP ASM also. There are also like the whole bunch of signatures, built-in signatures, but at the same time we can also create custom signature, right? And virtual IP is 100. So with the 100, even backend server is accessible. Backend server is accessible. But if we perform any attack here, like code injection or any other attack, right? So there is no protection as such, right? You can see here still username, password, all like we can see from here. Not only the code injection attack, even cross-site scripting attack, or file inclusion, file upload, command injection attack, all allowed, because web protection profile and also attack signatures alert only mode, right? So if we go to log access and attack section here, then we will see like yes, here code injection attack, right, or signature detection, but there is no protection as such. Malicious alert only, monitor mode is disabled, right? So, and here we can see the code here submitted. This is the code submitted here in the URL. But since action is alert, so that's why there is no protection. So today we are going to see like how we can protect a backend server from these attacks. But let's first understand what is web protection profile, and then we will critically demonstrate like creating protection profiles, signatures, protecting backend server with different attacks, right? Good so far? Alright, so web protection profile, inline protection profiles are set of attack protection settings. The FortiWeb appliance applies the profile when a connection matches a server policy, right? So where do we associate web protection profile? With policy, right? With the policy. So on the policy page, like we do find option to attach or associate web protection profile with protection profile, and web protection profile has like is linked with the known attack signatures. And there are some other settings also, like even if we want to restrict HTTP method, right? Because generally post method, get method, head methods are allowed, right? Other HTTP methods, they could be dangerous, like delete, put, trace, right? These HTTP methods, yes, could be dangerous. So as a best practice, what we should do, if not really required by the application, then definitely we should not allow any other HTTP methods except post, get and head, right? In a F5 big IP ASM, even by default, other HTTP methods are not allowed. In F5 big IP ASM, Application Security Manager or Advanced WAF, only 3 HTTP methods are allowed. Whereas in FortiWeb, by default, all HTTP methods are allowed, but in order to control that, in order to restrict HTTP methods, yes, we do have option here also. We can block certain HTTP methods, and as I mentioned before, as a best practice, we should not allow trace, delete, put, etc. HTTP methods, right? So even HTTP methods, IP reputation, whitelisting and blacklisting IPs, all configuration can be done in FortiWeb also, right? As we do in F5 big IP ASM module. So FortiWeb appliance applies the profile when a connection matches a server policy that includes the protection profile. You can use inline protection profile in server policies for any mode except offline protection, right? And inline, I hope you understand, right? Inline means when traffic actually passes through the device sitting in the middle of communication stream, and traffic is also passing through the device. That's what inline mode is. Inline protection profiles include features that require an inline network topology, of course, because we want to apply some protection, then topology should be inline. They can be configured at any time, but cannot be applied by a policy if the FortiWeb appliance is operating in a mode that doesn't support them, right? Operation mode, right? So default is what? Reverse proxy inline mode. So no problem with reverse proxy mode. All features are supported in reverse proxy mode because reverse proxy is basically inline mode, and that's the default mode. So how we can create web protection profile in FortiWeb? So go to policy, and critically I'm going to show you. Go to policy, then web protection profile, select inline protection profile tab, create new. Alternatively, click the clone, like if we want to make a copy of built-in profile and then doing further customization. So that's another way of like creating web protection profile. Either way, either just create from scratch, I mean make a copy of it and then do some changes, because predefined profiles supplied with your FortiWeb appliance cannot be edited, only viewed or cloned. That's the reason, right? And on this page, like we do that, like I mean, like here we have the option either to create new or just select any built-in profile and then click here clone, right? So there are two different ways. Configure these settings. Name, of course, client management. So enable to track a client by the inserted cookie or source IP when cookie is prohibited. Signatures, of course, known attack signature. X forwarded for is another very important attribute of HTTP header and use a lot of time, right? For example, if your not a best practice, but let us assume hypothetically that application delivery controller or load balancer and here like your firewall, internet, and then here like there is WAF and server here, right? Let us assume this is the network topology. Generally what we do, we put WAF in front of ADC or load balancer. If load balancer and WAF, there are two separate appliances, right? Not using on the same appliance, then generally we do not go this way. And why? Because generally what happens on ADC or application delivery controller or load balancer in F5, it is F5 big IP LTM, local traffic management. So generally we enable source NAT, SNAT option, wherein source IP address is also translated, because by default destination IP address is translated. So what happens when source NAT is in place here? So requests coming from the internet side, right, with different IPs. So the IPs will be translated with the exit interface IP of the ADC, exit interface IP, right? Let us assume here IP is 10.1.1. So no matter from which IP requests are coming from, they all will be replaced with this IP address, right? And WAF or Web Application Firewall basically uses IP also as one of the prevention technique. I mean, like if there is illegitimate or like attack traffic hitting here to the WAF with any specific IP address, then generally traffic coming with the same IP address is never allowed to pass through. But what would happen here? Legitimate, illegitimate, all traffic, when they would hit WAF, then like their source IPs would be 10.1.1.1, right? Source NAT. So, and that's the reason it is very bad practice. In fact, generally we should put ADC here and WAF here, right? WAF first and then application delivery controller. If there are two separate appliances, we are not using both modules on the same appliance. But still, let us assume like any corner use case wherein like you would have to put ADC in front of WAF. Then is there any way like so that WAF can easily distinguish about illegitimate and legitimate traffic or IPs, right? Because in the IP header here, source IP address will be what? 10.1.1.1. So yes, there is one option, and that is using X forwarded for option. So what happens when we enable XFF? So actual IP address, client IP address, public IP address, right, is encoded inside HTTP header. Inside HTTP header, here like attribute is inserted here, X forwarded for, right? X forwarded for. And if you have seen my LTM training videos, so there also I practically demonstrated once, I believe, wherein like we just opened HTTP header with the Wireshark, and then we have done the verification like how XFF is inserted inside the HTTP header. So in XFF, X forwarded for actual IP, public IP address, client IP address is encoded, right? So that's one of the use case wherein we use like this X forwarded for option. Select the X forwarded for, and allow method, as I said, like is HTTP allow method. So in FortiWeb, there is no restriction with the HTTP method by default, whereas in F5 WAF, by default, only post, get and head, these three methods are allowed, and other methods are not allowed by default, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you practically how we can create protection profile. Alright, so we have just witnessed like there is no protection, right? We can easily launch attack like either code injection attack or any other attack like maybe cross-site scripting attacks. So if we run the command script and then in anything here like you are hacked or something, and then submit. So yes, you are hacked, so the successful execution, right? So cross-site scripting attack, code injection attack, even command injection, right? All can be easily done. Why? Because FortiWeb doesn't protect anything. It's alert only mode. So how we can now put this WAF in prevention mode, transparent mode, like proper prevention mode I mean. So first thing, like what I'm going to do, I'm going to first create here signature, even though like there are like signatures here, or simply we can clone it if required, like a standard protection for example. You can click here clone, and this is our attack signature, okay. It's just the name, so we can give any name to the signature. Even though like we are not going to create a custom signature, just making a copy of a standard protection, right? And here now we see user defined, right? So predefined means built-in, and user defined means like that we create. So now editable, so it's not built in, so now we can customize this. Okay, so you can see here cross-site scripting attack, alert and deny. What about this? Not enabled by default, extended, enable this. And we are interested in alert and deny mode. What about a SQL code injection? Yes, already enabled. What about SQL extended? Again, we want to go with alert and deny. Journey attacks, already alert, and this extended journey alerts, again alert and deny. Trojan, alert and deny, right? And here also maybe alert only is good. And even we can see signature details also, right? So we are ready with the attack signature, first step, and also web protection profile, right? Because if you remember, then here in this server policy, built-in web protection profile is associated, and that is inline alert only mode. So we want to get rid of, we want to remove this with our own profile, right? So again, the next step is web protection profile. Already I can see like 10 profiles, so simply you can select any profile from here, and I will name it our web protection profile. You can give any name, profile. Okay, and here like on this page, web protection profile, so we can use attack signature, right? Signature here. So we want to use our own signature, attack signature, signature that we created here. And the X forwarded option, however, like other options, yes, they all can be configured, optional, and step by step you will understand. IP reputation is another area wherein we do a lot of configuration, like IP list, geo IP list, even so blacklisting and whitelisting of IP. So we can specify here, right? We can put IP in exception also, like if we know like it's internal IP, organization IP, then we can whitelist that IP. So if IP is whitelisted, then no further checking is done. It's a separate section, so I'm not going to discuss IP reputation. Another option available on the page, but you see like a lot of configuration can be done, but mainly we are interested in signatures only, right? Known signature only. So accept default values selection. So now we are ready with the profile. So profile has attack signature, and the last option, server policy. Already there is one server policy. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change web protection profile. I mean, I want to replace inline alert only protection profile with our own protection profile, so that we can protect backend server from different attacks, right? Good so far. So web protection profile here, and now I want to attach my own profile, right? Profile that I have created. So you can see here profile, our web protection profile, and web protection profile has like our own attack signature, and attack signatures has action, alert and deny. Not only alert and deny, right? So we will see log, and also protection also. Traffic log is enabled, of course. All right, so hit down OK. So we are ready with web protection profile and server policy. So it's time to do verification now. So what we are going to do, we are going to launch attack one more time on backend server. Backend server, I hope you understand. Here is the backend server, and the same machine is basically attacker machine and management PC. Already I have explained in previous session, right? We don't want to make topology very complex, because I have seen like people creating a very complex topology, unnecessary, like deploying too many devices, routers, switches, this, that, everything, right? Unnecessary, making things complex is like meaningless, because focus here is understanding FortiWeb, not about the networking part. I mean, like unnecessary, like too many devices. So whenever I create topology whether of routing, switching, SD-WAN or your firewall, WAF, LTM. I always try to deploy minimum number of devices just to make things simple, easy to understand, because unnecessary like too many devices and doing a lot of configuration doesn't help you in understanding, I mean, right? So same machine is management PC, attacker PC, and of course in protection network, of course, like management dedicated management port, maybe a management switch and devices connected, routers, firewalls, other devices also connected to the management switch, and then we connect a PC to the management switch to access management port or GUI page of the devices. I hope you understand, right? So same machine, management, attacker. So we are going to attack launch from here only, right? So and let's see what happens now. So I'm back to the same page, and first like start with the code injection attack, SQL code injection attack, submit, and see here web page blocked, right? Can we verify from here also? Log access, attack, because this time around web protection profile and signature, they both are in mainly signature in fact in alert and deny mode, and you can see here the top one, this one, alert and deny is the action. So if you look at the option here, and HTTP host, it is the one of the attribute in HTTP header, because HTTP header has too many attributes here, right? HTTP method, host field, X forwarded for, accept language, accept encoding. And in order to understand WAF properly, definitely you should be knowing HTTP very well in detail. So if you don't understand like HTTP components, HTTP header, about HTTP protocol, so I would strongly recommend like reading more about HTTP protocol, right? Because even there are different versions of HTTP, so HTTP 2, HTTP 3, even quick UDP internet protocol, about QIC, the latest one used by Google, YouTube and other. So to be master in WAF or web application firewall, or maybe even VAPT or web application VAPT, you should be knowing like about HTTP very well, right? So here, however, like I can see HTTP host, and here is the method, HTTP method, get method, URL. We can see in the URL itself there is code injection, and what was the action? Alert and deny, and that's the reason traffic was not allowed to pass through, right? Let's see us country, we can see OWASP top 10, so it's an injection attack, right? Open web application security project. And further, even if you like want to see IP, so IP translated, virtual IP translated to this IP, basically we access virtual IP VIP like 1. I believe 100, but virtual IP address or destination IP is automatically translated to backend server IP address. Is default behavior of load balancer, web application firewall, translating destination IP address. And if we want a complete detail of the packet header, then we can see here, right? Packet header, here ID. Similarly, if we try to attack or launch another attack, maybe a cross-site scripting attack here, see here, the page cannot be displayed, please contact that. Even this page can also be known as maintenance page here in FortiWeb. So FortiGate or FortiWeb, yes, easily we can change maintenance page like this error message page, right? So we do have option here to change that. So again, if I do a refresh here, then I will see the new yes, here it is cross-site scripting attack. So you can see detected, because FortiWeb has the signature, FortiWeb has the signature to identify cross-site scripting attack. So because of that, attack is first identified, and since action is alert and deny, so denied also, right? And here like pattern matched. So I hope you understand like how to like configure FortiWeb. FortiWeb configuration is very straightforward. Simply you'll have to remember that first configure FortiWeb so that traffic should pass through the FortiWeb, and for that create virtual IP, virtual server, pool. Once you are ready with the objects like virtual IP, virtual server, pool, and then finally create policy. So when we create policy, at that time we first associate pool or virtual server with the policy, and also web protection profile. And web protection profile has a lot of protection. One of the protection we have used here is like attack signature. Similarly, we can use other method also. So most of the configuration is done this way in FortiWeb, right? And apart from that, we have like bot mitigation API. Bot mitigation, again here there are some known and unknown bots like search engine bots and other bots. So we have like everything here properly distinguished, like bifurcated properly. DAS protection also we can set the rate here, like DAS protection, IP protection like blacklisting or whitelisting IPs. So we have like a good protection here in FortiWeb. So FortiWeb is also a very good web application firewall. So at least I hope you understand like the basic of FortiWeb, how you can configure FortiWeb so that backend server should be accessible, and if protection is required, then how you can protect from the known attack types, right? So that's all about this session.